Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Rocket League MapMaking tutorial series. Today I'm going to be showing you gameplay, so spawns, goals, lighting, which I'm not very good at, but I'm going to try my best. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to reset this mesh, rotation scale, and I'm just doing this by going into the properties and changing everything to 1 and 0. So for scale, obviously you want to keep it 1. But here we go, here's the map. So first thing I'm going to do is add lighting, because I want lighting. So there's actually a package that you can download in the Google Drive that is called Sticky Walls. And we're going to get back to sticky walls when we talk about collision. But there's actually something in here called lighting, and it's a prefab, which means that you can drag this wherever you want. And then if I want to put it in this way, ta-da, there's lighting, just like that. I don't play with shadows, so it's kind of hard to gauge for me how the lighting's gonna look. But I mean, that looks decent enough, because as you can tell, now we're on lit. Instead of, last video we were on unlit. Now we're lit because we have lighting, and then we go to detailed lighting. You can actually see everything's gray now because it's telling us where the lighting is, rather than there's dark here because that's a shadow. Everything else is bright, and then there's everything else is showing up now. And then if we actually go to hit G, you can actually see that it just changes everything to see what the actual game sees. This is a lot better than, you know, what I tried to show you last time, but there you go. So and the first thing I'm going to add is pylon. So we're going to go to actor classes and we're going to search for pylon. So actor classes are basically anything that's coded into the game and placeable. So you can see there's a bunch of stuff in here. Underscore TA is Rocket League stuff. So you can see there's a bunch of underscore TAs in here. I am just going to put in pylon, soccer, TA, bam. And then I'm going to move it up a little bit. And we're going to have F4 to open the properties. So right here you can see a bunch of options. There are very important ones that I want to talk about. Field size and field extent, I've never used. So there you go. The field center is where the ball is going to spawn. So if I set this to maybe 250, the ball is going to spawn up here at unit 250 on the Z. And then the spawn points we will add in just a second. And ground Z is how far the camera will go down. So if you go down here, the camera will stay up here if it's at 0. So I'm gonna change this to -2000 because I really want you to be able to see. And then we're gonna close out of this for now. Now we're gonna player starts. So we can go here and type in player underscore TA, drag that in, and ta-da, we got a spawn. So only setup spawns for blue, never for orange. We'll talk about those types of spawns later. We'll talk about dynamic spawns later. But those spawns look good. I'm gonna select them by hitting Control and selecting all of them. Select and select. Okay. Hit F4 to open the player start properties, and then we're gonna change the team index to 1. 0 is orange, 1 is blue. And then primary start is fine, and then destination only. Primary start basically means that you're gonna start there on kickoff. So if we uncheck primary start on this one, that means after we get demoed, it's gonna spawn us here. And then we're gonna go to pylon, F4 open the properties. We're gonna hit this lock selected actors button, and basically what it's gonna do is when we select other things, it's gonna keep that panel up for us. We're gonna select these 3. Then I'm gonna hit that green arrow, and it's gonna tell the game, hey, these are where the spawn points are. So there we go, we've got our spawns in. And if you're wondering why you don't put any orange spawns, here's why. So pylon will automatically mirror the spawns for you. So if these are the blue spawns, the orange spawns will be here and facing this way. It just mirrors it for you, so it makes it a lot easier. If you don't want it to mirror for you, if you don't want them to mirror over pylon, there's actually an option for that was just discovered. You can go to world info and go to my map info, hit this little drop down and click map info _TA, and then hit this drop down map info, and right here mirror field type, it's set to XY. You can set that to just X, just Y, or you can set it to none. I would just keep it how it is. And then you can also change other options in here if you wanted to, for, you know, controlling the game. So another thing I'm going to change while I'm here is kill Z. I'm going to type it just kill, and I'm going to change this to -10,000 and change this to -8,000. So what this is going to do is going to change whenever you get respawned if you go down too far. And it's just -10,000 because I leave it just way down there. I don't want to deal with it. So now we have the player starts put in. We're going to put in a goal right here because obviously we want one. So we're going to pick out the brush again. We're going to go to cube, and we're going to go, this is where the side view comes in handy. And we're going to move this over to the correct position for the goal. And then we're going to scale it up. Doesn't need to be perfect. At least for me, it doesn't need to be perfect. That's good enough. And then I'm going to select, actually I'm going to go here and select non-uniform scaling. I'm going to change this to top view because this is what I want to see. Where is it? There we are. Then scale this on the Y. And that was good. You can see that's a little hard to tell triggers in. A little hard to tell what the trigger looks like in perspective. That's why this is very useful. And then we're going to center that a little better. And then we're going to go into perspective again. And we're going to volumes, goal volume _TA. And ta-da, it's pink, goal volume. F4 to open properties. And there's a bunch of options in here. So first thing we want to do is make sure that a goal explosion will happen. So we're going to right click, add actor, add path node. And we're going to move this up. And it might be a little, wait, what the heck? Oh, okay, so if you hit N, it will actually hide the path nodes, the pylon, and the player start. I accidentally hit N and didn't realize it. Whoops. But I am going to rotate this -180 degrees. So it's facing out of the goal. And then with the goal volume, I locked it. And then we're going to go to path node, goal orientation, goal direction. And then for goal indicator archetype, we're going to type in goal indicator _TA. If you don't do this, the game will crash. And then team number, this is the team that it's going to award the points to. So since we're going to be spawning blue, we want to award the points to blue. So team number 1 for blue. 0 is orange, 1 is blue. And then if you want this to give us 2 or 3, let's say we wanted to give it 3 points, 3, you know, goal scores, whatever it's called, you can just move that up and down however you want it. I'm going to do 3 for now. We're going to exit out of that, and the goal is placed. Next thing we're going to talk about is collision and making us drive up the wall. So we're going to go to the content browser first, and we're going to go to the back to the tutorial series, and we're going to double click on this. And you can see our meshes here. You want to uncheck these 3 boxes. This is use simple box collision, use simple line collision, use simple rigid body. Uncheck all 3. You're gonna have to do this for every single mesh that you want to have collision on. So if you have 100 meshes, you got some work to do. That's just how it is. But then you can hit F4 to open the properties on our mesh. Type in rigid, and then uncheck disable rigid body. Check block rigid body. Collide complex bath colliding, and then we can go to RB. And we can select default, vehicle, and ball. If we want this to only have collision, on. Okay, so let's say we want this to only have collision on the ball. We can change this to RBC ball blocker, and then select ball blocker. Or no, I don't think you actually need to check anything in here. But ball blocker. If you want it to be vehicle, uncheck these vehicle, and then you would have to set it down here also to vehicle, and then these checkboxes will translate. But I want it to have collision on anything, so I'm going to do default and default, and then select ball and ball. Okay, there we go. Now we have collision on our mesh, and we're gonna make it so we can drive on the wall. So we're gonna hit F4 to open the properties, and we're gonna type in fizz, and we're gonna lock it for now. I'm gonna open the content browser, and we're gonna go back to that package called sticky walls, and we're gonna right click, create a copy, and then we are going to create a copy in tutorial, and then we hit down arrow, it will actually just auto lock to a package, and then okay. Make sure you create a copy in whatever package you're using. If you don't create a copy of it, it's not going to work. But now we have it in our package with our mesh. So we're going to go back to those properties. We have it selected in the content browser. Go back to the properties and then hit that green arrow on physical material override. And that's going to make it so we can drive on the walls. All right, and now everything is ready gameplay wise. So we're going to build all, and this is going to build the lighting and the geometry, make everything work basically. Obviously this goes really quick because there's nothing here, but we're gonna save current level again, never hit save all, and I'll see you when we get in game. Okay, so a very important thing to mention is when you test it, there is this thing already put in here called Utopia override bat script. Go to tutorial series or whatever your map's called and just click and drag over that, and then let go, and it will actually override Utopia Labs for you. So I'll see you in game. Okay, so we're in game. Rocket League's finally loaded. Well, not fully. The threads aren't loaded, but there we go. We can go to play, custom games, private match, create land maps, and then Utopia Retro is what you want to do. Just create a match using Utopia Retro as the map, and then create match, and it doesn't matter. Right here, we can join blue, and you can see that our ball spawns, and I'm going to be using mouse and keyboard, so this is going to be great. But you can see that the lighting works. Our ball is spawned. We spawned in the area. Now, if you remember, we actually unchecked primary start on this middle spawn, so I'm going to show you exactly what that is. And that's the ground Z working with the camera. That's why you need to move it down. But right here, you can see we spawned in the middle because primary start was unchecked. And then for orange, I said it mirrored, and here you go. It mirrors over. And since the game's already started, it's going to spawn you wherever the non-primary start is, if you have one. And then if we score, you can see it gives blue 3 points because that's what we wanted it to do. And the goal explosion plays, no crashes, and everything is perfect. So, I will see you in the next episode when we get into dummy assets and custom textures, and I'll see you then.